I'm very excited to have my next guest join us. She's a very talented singer and songwriter whose debut album is Everything and Nothing. It is Kylie Spence.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to meet you, talk about the new music and whatnot. And,
yes.
And really, your interesting life.
Yeah,
You've
I
had
have quite the layers.
quite
to
the
me.
journey.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to the music on this album, I feel like there's just even more layers going on.
Yeah.
For people that are just getting to know you or perhaps getting to know you for the first time, you are quite the nomad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Where does the story start? Because I've heard Montana, Nashville, you lived in
everywhere.
LA for a period of time.
I've lived in a bunch of different states. I guess it all started musically in my bedroom in California when I was growing up here, like probably 10 or 11.
Southern California?
Southern California, San Clemente, Laguna Beach area, just that whole bubble. And yeah, I started writing songs on the guitar, and I was doing musical theater at the time for singing, so just kind of exploring what that world looked like, and then piano, and then literally I just started teaching myself chords, and like I was writing a new song like every single day.
How old were you when you first started playing?
I think I was 7 when I started playing piano, and then I was 10 or 11 when I started playing guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you started playing chords. Any particular bands
Yeah.
that you were gravitated towards?
Taylor Swift.
Of
She
course.
was like having her huge moment, you know, where it was like the love story, that record, and Fearless, and I just really looked up to that and her guitar, and started, I think one of Taylor's songs was like one of the first songs I learned how to play.
Which one?
I think it was, do you remember the one she did for the Hunger Games? It was
Okay,
like Eyes
you're-
Wide Open.
I am a self-admitted not a Swiftie, so I do not remember.
Okay, that's okay.
But there are people in my life that are like, how dare you? We are no longer friends. I don't know you.
It's fine. I don't take it personally. No, she did a song for the Hunger Games soundtrack like years ago. And I did that one for the talent show years ago. And then I
And
just...
you won the talent show. And
You know, I don't think it was a competition. I think it was just for them to showcase the students. But yeah.
And God, that you must have been so proud because you were able to do the whole song
Yeah, I was.
in front of
But
people.
yes, it wasn't always like that though. My first open mic, it was so cute. It was like a senior citizen coffee night. And so I played for like the senior citizens.
Really?
Yeah, and it was the sweetest thing ever. But I was so nervous, and my legs were like shaking from like anxiety.
I would be too. Old people are mean.
Sometimes.
Who is this girl
Yeah,
in
I
her
was
Taylor
like,
Swift?
Oh my God, I'm so stressed
I
right
need
now.
my Guy Lombardi. Wow. So Taylor obviously has inspired so many young women to pick up the guitar.
Totally.
And the thing is specificity in songwriting. Is that what gave you the confidence to write such honest songs like you do?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think so, and I think through listening to other artists that I've like really felt connected to, I also was just like, I felt like for so long songwriting had to be super vague, and I also think when I started writing, I didn't have a lot of life experience yet. You know, like I was 12 years old writing about things that I wasn't really able to comprehend personally. So just, you know, after high school and then my early 20s, it's like I've had so many more experiences that are specific enough where I'm like, okay, like I can really be honest about this and do it for myself, and knowing that other people also experience, you know, very similar things.
What was it like during the last 5 years, 4 years after things got locked down and you were back home by yourself in your bedroom again, writing with your thoughts?
It was weird. Because I moved to LA after high school, so I was only really down here by myself for 6 months.
Right.
And then obviously lockdown happened, and my mom and dad were like, just come home. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. And so I came home, and I was living at home for a while, writing a ton, but I was super lonely. Obviously, I feel like everyone was kind of lonely. But I got really close with my family, and we, you know, we were living in Montana, so we'd go on hikes and like take advantage of being outside. It was so lucky that I got to live there when I did, because I think growing up there in some way, like going back and forth a lot throughout my childhood and then living there for a couple years consistently really shaped my connection to nature, and just defining that for myself. And that plays a huge part in my music. Like,
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it, especially with the bones of your music. It's very much acoustic guitar based, and then you kind of build from that, right?
Yeah, totally.
So it made sense for you to migrate to Nashville.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst? Was it the songwriting? Was it the music scene?
For
Was it
Nashville?
Taylor?
No, it was everything. Last year, crazy year, and I truthfully had a lot of different events, just like crap hit the fan. Like it was like everything that I had that was solid in my life fell apart completely, almost around the same time. It was so weird. Like, I just remember laughing because I was like, this is so, like, why is this happening to me? Like, my life is literally falling apart. Like, my job, I got demoted, my car got totaled, like, found out my house had mold. Like, so much stuff happened all at once. And so I basically gave the universe like an ultimatum, and I was like, if this happens, then I move into Nashville, thinking that it wouldn't happen. And then that thing happened.
Mold.
It was the mold. Yeah. Yeah.
Car crash, relationship. If
Everything.
you have mold in my house, universe, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it was.
That would make me move as well.
Yeah, it was weird, and the timing of everything was weird, but I think within all of that chaos, I kind of just surrendered to it and looked at it from a place of, okay, this is so cool. Like, I can start fresh and kind of have like a new chapter and just start fresh, you know, instead of looking at it from the negative, like, oh my God, my life is literally in shambles right now. What am I doing? I just kind of had to flip my mindset. So
It's a booming town.
yeah,
A lot of people have migrated to Nashville, obviously. That's a big
crazy.
story. And so much new construction and things like that. So I think mold should be the last thing on your list to worry about.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think there's a difference between being intentional and being inspirational with your music. And
Yeah.
trying to combine the two
Yeah,
is the challenge.
totally.
And it sounds like it kind of naturally came to be that way.
Yeah, thank you. I just was super honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just kind of let what needed to come through. And, you know, there are some songs that are really honest, but I'm really okay with that because I know that other people have, you know, I'm not the only one who's experienced these things before. So I think sometimes the more honest, the better. And I also had so much fun writing from a more specific, honest place. It was so fun to be like, oh, how can I add these words in the song that someone will get it, but not everyone's gonna get it, but then people will get it.
Right. I
Yeah.
like this era of music that we're in right now because, and not to say that there shouldn't be songs that are vague and left to interpretation, but I like how artists start at least with the foundation of being honest and true to whatever they experienced or whatever they're inspired by. And you just said you're not the only one. I immediately think of this other artist. She's country Megan Maroney. She just dropped an album.
I know.
And she's like the emo country cowgirl.
Yes.
And same vibes with pouring your heart out of heartbreak and love and whatever life is throwing at you. And you're just being real specific about it.
Totally.
And
Yeah, I love Megan. She's awesome.
And same thing where, you know, writing in Nashville and things.
Yeah.
You don't pull any punches on a lot of these songs. I love the song Mannequin.
Thank you.
Because we're in LA shooting this right now, and I feel like a lot of guys, a lot of people in general just go for obviously the physical appearance and things like that, and how you're saying things like she doesn't talk back, ask her a question, she's an 11 and things, and it's just like, I admit it, I understand that line.
Yeah.
That's a true experience as well?
Yeah, I wrote that about an ex, and basically he like rated me on a scale of 1 to 10, and I asked why, and he told me, he's like, not attracted to your physical appearance that much, like yada, yada, yada.
So he was dating you already
Yes, for a long time.
for a long time
Yes.
and gave you a rating, a physical rating that he is not attracted to you.
Yes. But you know what?
Physically attracted.
Yes. And I grew so much from that. And I think he did also. And him and I are on totally good terms. Like, I promise. But like, I grew a lot from that. And I learned my boundaries with like relationships. And he also came to me after and he's like, I learned so much from that. And at the end of the day, like, that's really cool, you know? And I got a great song out of it.
You got a great 3-4 minute song
I got a really
out of
good
it.
song out of it. And I love that song. And it doesn't trigger me in any way now. It's just like, okay, it happened in the past and like, that's okay. And it was true. And like, it's okay to acknowledge that truth because it was something that I went through that at the time was really hard for me to like wrap my head around.
How much therapy did you have to go through to get to this point? Because that is a very, very damaging thing to say to someone.
Yeah,
Not
no
just
doubt.
not just the ego.
Totally. Yeah, it's I did a lot of healing, for real. And I mean, the last song is called Mushroom Song, and I
I was going to get to that.
You were going to get to it. I started working with plant medicine.
That sounds like you were back in Montana, in the big sky.
I was. Plant medicine has played such a huge role in my healing journey, for real. So
That's the
Yeah.
California girl coming back out here.
that was Montana. Like that all happened in
Okay,
Montana.
I'll take that too.
Yeah, I did my first mushroom ceremony with like a guided ceremony in Oregon a couple years ago, and yeah, it was amazing.
And are you going to say that the shaman is a topic of one of these songs as well?
No,
just had to ask.
no,
Because you know how sometimes the mentee and the mentor.
No, absolutely not. No, she's lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're great friends. Yeah, I mean, all the songs are. There's a couple different people the songs are about. I mean, there's some songs that are about friendships. For Zeta is about a friend of mine who passed away last year, and I wanted to honor her. So it's, you know, I feel like there's a lot of different topics on the record, and that's also why I wanted to call it Everything and Nothing. Just a huge, like, here's everything
Right.
from me from the last couple years.
Congrats on the release.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a great introduction to everyone. And I hope that Mushroom Song will maybe give us a springboard into the next project.
Totally.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
It's Kylie Spence right here on B-Sides.